Well, good morning, everybody. Today is September the 2nd. Hard to believe that we are already into the second day of the month of September. This is day 3 of the 77-day video challenge, live video challenge, actually, for me, where I come online. And today I'm doing something a little bit different, so it may be a bit wonky as I begin to master it better. I am coming to you on Facebook using the streaming capabilities of Zoom to be able to stream on Facebook. Oh, by the way, here's an interesting story about streaming from a platform like Zoom to platforms like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Think about it this way. Years and years ago, when I actually was in the field of broadcasting as a disc jockey, and this was also true of television at the time, but particularly in radio broadcasting, there was a thing called delay. And delays were designed to allow for catching things that at that particular time were not appropriate to go out over public airwaves. And so there would be these delays of 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15-second delays. Well, if you're doing a Zoom presentation like I am this Friday morning, believe it or not, as you are watching me, you're looking at a 30-second delay, because I started this video and 30 seconds before you see me, I've already said what I'm saying that you're hearing now for the first time. That doesn't serve as an anomaly. It's just the nature of how things are. I remember that my good friend Lee Tran, who also is doing and continues to do this challenge, she would do it on Zoom. And Zoom is a great venue for that because I get a chance to use an exceptionally good quality microphone, the microphone that I have here in the studio with me. And this is my home studio. It's really an office, kind of tell you. It's the bedroom that was my son's bedroom when we first brought him home from college. College? Bad word, sorry. When we first brought him home from the hospital back in 1980. And so now here it is, my office, as most of you know and have seen. If you had joined me on day 1, which was August 31st, and then yesterday for September the 1st, here we are in day 3 on September the 2nd. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit more about resilience as it relates to the word resolve. But I'm also going to talk about something else that I think is extremely important in the field of getting to know people and making yourself connected to people, attached to people, making yourself endearing to people. I begin by telling you that not everybody's going to like you. I've said that before. I'll repeat that again. For my purposes, I adopted a mantra or a saying or a feeling. I believe in the power of 3. I like 3 because 3 is a manageable number. It allows you to be able to put together pieces in such an order that you can manage them, understand them, and be able to sustain them successfully. A good speech, for example, is composed of 3 parts: an open, a body, and a conclusion. And within the body of the speech, where you're giving your main meat, the center of the sandwich, as I like to call it, there are 3 specific points that you want to talk about. And hopefully you will share each of the 3 points with the goal of talking about stories that resonate with people, but they come to a point there where the last story, the third story, is really the meatiest of the entire presentation, so that when you get to the conclusion allows you to throw out a challenge or a call to action or an offer for the individuals to take and ponder what you've said and apply that into their own lives internally, or to take it out and share it with other people and bring them into this idea, this concept, this feeling. Some of that is, for example, embodied in TED Talks. When you fill out an application to do a TED Talk, you're basically talking about many different possibilities. Me, for example, I'm talking about what really would be called a small idea. Small in the sense that it's something that's actually very evident and right there in front of us and accessible. But we just, being so busy, moving to and fro, running around, doing this, and this, we miss it. my entire mantra of I never noticed, which began back in 2011, had to do with the fact that these clues about mom and her Alzheimer's and the Alzheimer's that was pervasive in mom's family, that on her side with her mother and her siblings, it was there to be seen. It was known, it was identified, and yet with my life going and doing what I wanted to do and being caught up in what I was living for or thinking I was living for, I didn't catch the clues. I didn't connect the dots. And so therefore I missed. So a small idea in this case is there are mechanisms that can help you begin to apply and create a system where you have a mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial discipline, to name those 5. And those disciplines work with your 5 senses. And those 5 senses work with how you think about everything that you do in terms of personal and professional best practices on a day-by-day basis. And that's how Resolve came to be under the header of I Never Noticed. So small ideas sometimes are actually huge, or they can become huge if you take them, focus down on them, and then begin to see how you can apply them to your personal life. So when I talk about resolve and I talk about resilience, engagement, selfless service, optimal organization, lifelong learning, vision, and enthusiasm, I'm talking about behaviors, the best practices for living. Today, I want to talk about something that has to do a little bit more in the area of resilience, but rather it's not resilience in being able to withstand. Some people think being resilient means you can hold up. Well, yeah, resilience is that, because there are going to be tough times and you want to be able to hold up and keep going forward and not allow yourself to entertain the idea of quitting. But resilience is also an insistent, steadfast, intentional behavior that you apply in relationship building. One of my keynotes, as I may have mentioned yesterday, was the 80-20 rule of relationship building. And I was talking about having 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth, and using 80% these gifts, being able to see and hear, in applying towards the idea of connecting with people and building relationships. Let me bring it down to an even tighter focus for you today. I think it's important for us to arrive at a point in this life where we are actually spending more time wanting to listen and understand and get to know the people that are in front of us. Now, before I go into this relationship building effort and hopefully successful relationship building process, I do want to tell you that we live in a world where there are individuals that are so totally self-absorbed, self-focused, and they're not bad people. As a matter of fact, they are quite passionate people. But what has happened is that they are wrapped up in the cares of their own life, with the pressures of that life. And if they are especially troubled by the way things are going in our community, our state, our nation, and around the world, and maybe they are passionate about things like politics, faith, economics, morals, social issues, the list goes on, they can be very, very unflexible. This lack of flexibility has to do with the fact that they're not interested in hearing what someone else has to say. They want their point to be heard, and they want people to accept their point and side with them. I'm not in a competition with anybody to that respect. I have my own set of opinions, and there are certain things which I will not apologize for as to my beliefs and values. That being said, I have no patience or tolerance for values well, they're really not values at all, but rather I have no patience or tolerance for behaviors that harm other people, malign other people, categorize other people, basically stigmatize people and profile people into particular groups, and they are just automatically lumped into those groups and condemned. When in reality, the vast majority of them are not evil people, bad people, or uncaring people. But we just want to put people into groups. That's not what this is about. This is about face-to-face meetings and relationships, even about conversations on the phone. And I'll take it down to an even finer level. This is about the things you say in emails and that you say on social media. We must be more conscious of the fact that as much as we want to be heard, we need to let others be heard more. I had a phrase that I used to say to people when I would coach, and I still say it to this day when I have a coaching opportunity: you have something worth saying and something worth being heard. You deserve to have that something said and be heard, but you want to be able to say it so that the people that hear it are going to be drawn to it and are going to want to know more. You can't do anything about what those people do as far as their intention to want to, but you can at least give them a very fertile and level playing field and place to plant that seed so they have a chance to see it perhaps bear fruit and find that what they see in the fruit is good and enjoyable and worth looking into and digging deeper into. And that requires creating, building, sustaining, and nurturing relationships. In relationship building, the thing that I'm striving to do, because I was the world's worst, I'm giving an example of it right now. I'm sitting in my office in front of a computer. I have my Zoom opened up and I'm streaming live on Facebook, or at least I hope, based upon the indicators that I see on the screen, that I'm streaming live. But what you will notice is that I'm looking directly at you, and this is a very intentional thing. There's a camera here directly in front of me. It's a webcam that I have attached to the top of my screen. The webcam is right here. I'm looking at the lens of that webcam because this is me and that's you. If I were looking down at myself on the screen of the computer, or looking over here, I've got a kitty cat over here taking a nap, looking around the room like this, I wouldn't be looking at you. And if I'm talking to you or you're talking to me, you want me looking at you. Further, if you're talking to me and I'm looking at you, you want me to also be hearing you. But if I'm doing this, I'm not hearing you. Or if I'm looking around distracted, I'm indicating to you that I'm not hearing you. Now, there are people who would say, I can hear a conversation going on even if I'm not looking at you. Well, that's great, particularly if you're driving a car. I happen to subscribe to the fact that when you're driving a car, keep your eyes on the road. And if somebody's in the car talking, listen. But by all means, please don't turn around and look, or turn to the right or left and look. Keep your eyes on the road, please. Here it's different. In relationship building, you got to intentionally focus on people. You have to show that you genuinely care about what they're saying. Now, does everybody have something that for you personally might be beneficial or something you want to adopt? No. There are different beliefs, opinions, ideas, values, styles, approaches. There's all kinds of mechanisms that people can offer to you, and you have to sort them out and choose those which you want to connect with and those which you would prefer to set aside because now is not a good time. And then there are those which, frankly, you're just not going to accept. And this is me setting you up for that three-part thing that I wanted to tell you about here, that I began just a few moments ago, where I said, I am learning through the power of three this fact. If I'm a speaker, I need to come into that venue to understand immediately that 1/3 of the people that will start to listen to me, note I said start, are not going to like me. And they're going to tune out on me pretty soon. And if the venue allows, they'll either walk out of the room and leave, go someplace else because they got something to better serve their time with, or they will switch off their camera and they'll go do something in the background, or they may just leave the meeting entirely if it's online. There's going to be a third. It's not that they dislike me, it's that they've got other more important things on their mind than hearing what I have to say. That's just simply distraction. And I can't fault them for it because we all have the cares of life to live. And sometimes, especially if we're in the weeds, it's difficult to find our way back to the main highway or find our way back to where the really good seeds planted and things are growing. However, I do believe there'll also be a third that will embrace and give attention to and will like my message. And they might even want to partner with me and develop a relationship and take my ideas and move forward with it. Now, take that same principle when you're meeting people in relationship opportunities through something as simple and straightforward as networking. When you're networking, you're looking to find people that you can have become a part of your circle of influence and associate with. And you desire to associate with them as well. It can't be a one-way relationship. You have to want to equally be connected in their lives as you want them connected in yours, because there is this thing about relationships where you want to have a collaborative relationship where you can get together, talk ideas, share ideas, work together to create better ideas, create teams. Masterminds are like that. Each has their own specific skill set that they're doing and their direction and going, but they get together with like-minded people, and in getting together with like-minded people, they learn more, they share more, they all gain more, and they discover that there are ways that they can work together as well as independently. Relationship building is a two-way relationship thing. It's an energy exchange. But from your point, when you are wanting to meet people and to get to know people, you have to take your specific belief system and objectives and not subordinate them and not set them off to the side and not neglect them and ignore them, but rather place them over here where if the opportunity is presented and you are inquired of as to, hey, John, what do you do? Tell me how you do it. You're able to pull from that and share because you were solicited for that. But really in relationship building, you should be going in with the sole purpose of building a relationship. And the best way to build that relationship is to focus your two eyes, tune up your two ears, and keep your mouth shut. Let your eyes and your ears be the key power source. Let them be that 80% in the 80-20 rule that is listening to and watching the person you're talking to. Become interested in knowing that person's passions, the things they enjoy, but also be willing to ask, what are the things that cause you difficulty? What do you struggle with? What's that pain point in your life? And then when your mouth does open, what comes out of it is a question seeking to know more, or perhaps seeking to understand better through clarification. Sometimes it's to say, do I understand you correctly? Did you say? And then they can tell you, yes. Well, what does that look like? Why has that been a problem for you? What have you tried and found doesn't work? And eventually what's going to happen is they're going to become, in most cases, very comfortable with you because they see that you genuinely care about knowing them. The opportunity will arise, perhaps, not always. It's not a 100% foolproof system. But chances are in relationship building, the opportunity will arise where you're going to have the chance to talk about what it is that you do. And if you are, like me, a coach, a trainer, and a team builder, then you're going to be asked, you're going to be sought as an expert authority. And if you are showing that you intentionally care about the people that you are working with and building a relationship with, you will become a trusted expert. It's a natural cycle. It is very organic. It is something that just simply does happen. And I know it from experience because for so many years of my early adult life, and I'm not talking just a handful of years, many, many years, I was far too self-absorbed and caught up in my own wants and needs and in what I thought made me such a great commodity that I pushed people away and didn't even realize it. And I would walk out of something and say to myself, why didn't they like me? Well, frankly, you didn't let them know that you liked them. You didn't show that you cared about them and that you were interested in what makes them tick and how their welfare meant something to you. The whole principle of mentoring, when coupled with coaching, is that a mentor skilled in specific things comes alongside the mentee or the protege, presents some suggestions and recommendations that help that person, but that person is the person doing it. And your job is to encourage them to keep on doing it and letting them know that you believe in them. And if they need your help, you are ready, willing, and able to offer what you can, hoping that it will make an impact. Coaches who do the best job also are the same, except they've already assessed the talent. They know the talent's capability. So now in this particular situation, they advise the talent, here's what you do well, so focus more on this and apply this tactic, make this switch, adjust and do this move. And we see that even in the World Championship of Public Speaking in Toastmasters International, because when those individuals arrive at that final group that stands on the world stage and competes, all of them have a coach or coaches, not just the ones that brought them along to that point, but there are past world champions that come in there who listen, critique, give feedback, advise, and in some cases, as a coach, step in and say, I want you to step back and I want you to adjust that. I want you to rephrase that. I want you to move to here, set up a blocking mechanism, use posturing, try this piece of body language, use this gesture, or come in tight and closer to yourself, or move up closer to the camera and speak into the lens. These are all the things that good coaches do. But the combination of it is this: they are relationship builders. They come in because they know that you have something great to offer and something great that needs to be heard, and you have a right to speak it. And in relationship building, you want them to speak. You want them to tell you their story. You want them to feel valued. And more importantly, you want them to know that their value is such that you want them to be a part of your personal life. You want them to partner with you, to collaborate with you, to network with you, to team with you. Friendships are built that way. Some friendships are very close and very personal and very tight. Other friendships are very professional, very profound, and very productive. There's a profit motive for those of us who are in this professional business. And the profit motive is right and justified. But no profit motive should ever be greater than the people who you develop your relationships with. Because if you think in terms of profit, you will make decisions which will ultimately betray them. You want to be known for your consistency your candor, your kindness, your compassion, and your caring in giving them the best version of you possible. And to begin effective relationship building in a world of personal resolve, you must have the resilience of discipline of mind to focus on you. Now, I'm on a video and I'm doing all the talking right now. You could be on a video and doing all the talking. The key here is relationship building. You're going to have opportunities every day, whether on the phone, whether through email, whether through social media, on Zoom, but especially in person through networking, one-on-one, and meeting and connecting with groups. And this practice can also be applied in all of your personal things and your avocations. Do it at church. Certainly do it at Toastmasters. Do it when you go to community events. If you go to an open house, do it at the open house. Are you a part of a commercial or civic organization? Then do it at a ribbon cutting. Or maybe that commercial or civic organization has gatherings, what we call breakfast gatherings or luncheon gatherings, where they come together and talk and they share their ideas and maybe have a guest speaker. There's opportunities there for relationship building. Relationship building must be a two-way connection, but the difference is your portion of the connection as the person seeking the relationship must be 1/5 or less of the conversation, while 4/5, 80% or more of the conversation is about the person you're talking to. And there is a sincere, serious, intentional desire to learn as much as possible. And while you're doing it, look them in the eye. In our society, looking them in the eye is a sign of respect. I realize in other cultures, they don't like you to look in their eyes. It's a threatening thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about here in these United States of America, relationship building is about eye contact. And eye contact is about intentionally caring to hear what they have to say and being totally focused on them. And focus is a behavior that is resilience. A resilient mindset, resolved to build relationships, placing the greatest percentage of your energies and efforts on the person to whom you're talking to. Engage. Take the risk. Get out there and do something today. Meet some great people. But most of all, just remember, the world needs people who will listen and watch and be willing to suspend judgment and keep their mouth closed until they're asked to say something. And there's nothing wrong with that. I promise you, when you build good relationships and network with great people, your voice will be heard. I'm John Morrow. This is day 3 of my 77-day video challenge. Thank you, Darren LaCroix, for the challenge. Thank you, Leah Tran, for the challenge. And thank you, many, many others for the challenge. But most of all, thank you for joining me today. And I will look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, by the grace of God, for day 4. Until then, happy September the 2nd. As we like to say, it's Friday. We'll see you again soon. John Morrow saying, so long.